I'm trying not to make the video very lengthy. Um, One of the things the psychologist did say that I found a little bit annoying, kind of annoying, is this. So we had a lot of conversation, and she was really supportive on so many fronts about so many things. And at some point, she did say to me that I think she was trying to refer me to a post diagnosis therapy session, something like that. And she did say she was trying to find out what topic did I want to talk about with these therapists that she was going to refer me to. And she said, what do you want to talk about? And so we were going through the topics, the possible topics I could discuss. And then she said to me, she said, you know what? Let's not pretend that autism it's all about the negative stuff. Let's just of course there is some positive stuff to it. And I'm looking at her like, okay, tell me about what's positive about it. Because I do not know what you're referring to. Like seriously, I am open to someone telling me what's positive about autism. I'm no servant about anything, so I don't have the servant trait. So what's positive? Um, she had worked with me over several weeks, so she did had a cascade of what my symptoms are and what the traits are and everything. And so when she says to me that it's not all negative, there's something positive, I'm looking at her and I'm wondering, what did I say to you that is positive? I think I'm a little bit sad by it. By the fact that over the years, in most cases, people don't get it when I'm in distress. People don't understand it. People don't see it. Um, I would tell someone that I'm in distress and they just can't see it or they can't feel it or they can't understand it. I can remember telling when I was in school and I was going through severe depression and I was suicidal. I can remember telling a classmate of mine that I'm suicidal and it didn't register. It just didn't click. For some reason, it didn't. I don't know how to explain that. And that has been my experience my whole life. When I tell people I'm in distress, when I tell people this, I'm not comfortable with something, or something is not okay, or I'm struggling, or this is this, or that is that, people don't seem to understand me. Or people don't seem to, it's not like they don't believe me. I think it's like what I say and what they hear or what they understand is just different. When I spoke to my therapist, I remember telling her this, and because when I talk a lot, I just laugh. That's because when I'm saying something that is really sad, in order not to feel that sadness, I like to put in some smiles and laughter. It helps me not go under the weight of the sad conversation. Um, However, that's not the reason why people don't get me. The reason why people don't get me is often because when I say something like, "Oh, my head hurts," um, it doesn't register because I'm probably still busy doing a lot of stuff. I'm still cooking, I'm still cleaning, I'm still planning where to go and whatever to do, and all those activities. And so the interpretation will be your head probably doesn't hurt that much. That's has been the case across everything I do. I'll tell somebody, oh God, I'm so stressed. But my actions doesn't reflect it in a way. That's because I've lived years with a very low energy. I literally grew up with that low energy. I think it's related to my autism stuff. And so if I had to pay attention to that energy level, I wouldn't have done anything with my life because I literally grew up with a very, very low energy kind of. And so I've learned over the years to ignore myself. I've learned to say, yes, my head is pounding, but I need to get this done. Yes, I'm tired, but I need to do this. Yes, I'm stressed, but I need to do this. I was suicidal and I had a plan for it. I had a plan. I had everything structured and everything. And yet I showed up in school. I showed up in classes. I studied. I learned. I sat for my exams. And I had an end date and all the plan. So I think when I communicate distress, apart from the fact that I don't have the tone of voice that communicates the distress, I think I also do not have the actions that go along with the distress. I think how I communicate different distress is different from how people communicate it. I do not know what the difference is, but because too many people have missed it when I explain my stress or my distress or my pain, I've come to believe that there's something missing in the link of what I'm explaining. I've come to believe that. So when this psychologist say to me, oh, but there's something positive about autism, I'm like, gosh, she just did it again. Did I tell her anything positive? Did she hear anything positive? Where did I say something positive? What is positive about it? Um, I don't know what's positive about it. I know a lot of intelligent people who are not autistic, so don't tell me, oh, but you're intelligent and smart. It's not about autism. There are people who are intelligent and smart and they're not autistic. So, autism, it's not the reason why I'm intelligent and smart. It's me. Um, so I don't know where they saw the line of positivity. I can't find it. It's true, I'm going through a burnout. It's true, I'm stressed. It's true, I'm trying to figure out what this means and what that means. And I'm not in the best state of mind. So maybe that's why I can see what's positive, but I really can't see it. I don't know what they're talking about. Um, there's only one thing I keep looking at, and I keep wondering if that's what she's referring to. I've gone through severe depression and I was in Nigeria. Um, Severe clinical depression because I was suicidal and all that. I've gone through panic attacks. I've gone through severe anxiety. I've gone through severe anxiety and panic attacks that I was almost housebound because I couldn't step out. I've suffered from OCD, severe OCD, and when you look at the fact that I've walked my way through all of this without external help, that I would agree. The only reason I was able to pull myself through all of that without external help is because of my autism. That's because autism is able to recognize patterns, be able to predict outcome, and be able to tweak things to get a different outcome. So I was able to look at when I went through depression, I was able to look at what was causing it, where was it coming from, what was feeding it, what was keeping it alive, and I was able to manipulate it and readjust it to be able to get myself out of that. And I did that alone because I didn't have the resources to get help. I was in Nigeria. Psychiatry care in Nigeria is zero, or psychology care, wherever you call it. It's close to zero. So because I didn't have that, I had to do this myself. So I was able to get myself out of that. I was able to get myself out of the anxiety, the severe anxiety, and whatever, the palpitation, all the whatever. I was able to get myself out of that. Panic attacks, being housebound, and all that. I was able to find a way to crack through and get myself out of that. And that has to do with autism. Yes, I do agree that autism meant that I could see the pattern a lot clearer and be able to see what needs to be altered to get a different outcome. So, yes, autism did walk me out of that. However, I'm gonna say that the only reason I was there in the first place is autism. I don't care what you say. I think it is. I think it is. I know there are people without autism who are depressed. I know there are people without autism who suffer anxiety and panic attacks and obsessive compulsions and OCD and all of that. I know, but I really do believe that if my autistic burnout was not happening at the background, I probably wouldn't have experienced this cascade of mental issues. And so, even though autism found a way to get me out of that, I still feel like it got me into it in the first place. Yeah. So, I'm still looking for what's positive about it. And I just can't think of what's positive about it. Um, it does have a way of making me be able to see patterns and be able to make a predictions about outcome and get it right about the outcome. But I don't know. You tell me. No, what's your experience? And tell me what's positive about your own autism. It's possible she was looking at somebody else's experience of autism and saying, oh, it's not always negative. I don't know what's positive about mine. I seriously have no idea. You tell me. Thank you.